Hey guys, I thought I'd make a little video about feeding because this is the fun part. This is the cool part about the saltwater hobby. So in here I have, this is a cube of frozen mysis, and I got a pack of these. There's something like 24 in a pack, and that cube will last me over a week. So I probably buy maybe 1 or 2 packs a year because I don't use it every day. And we're going to just bring it up to temp. So I'm going to get some tank water with my turkey baster, and we're going to use this warm salty tank water, so it's already pre-mixed. We're going to use that to kind of defrost this and make it so it's not super cold. So I'm actually going to go ahead and put the lid on, and I'm going to screw it on there nice and tight, and then I'm going to give it a little shake, and you can see it's already really cloudy. There's actually like shrimp broth. You can see the tiny little eyes of the frozen tiny little mysis shrimp in there. So this is like a highly nutritious way to feed your corals and your fish. Like nutrient dense, so you don't need to do this all the time. And in fact, if you get too much of that shrimp broth in your tank, you can start to grow some algae because it's too much nutrient. So we're going to let this warm up for a sec, and then we'll get to the fun part. There is our mysis, all nice and defrosted and ready to go. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure, first of all, I'm going to turn off the pump because this way the food doesn't fly around all over the place. And go ahead and lift up the lid. So the combination of me turning off the pump and opening the lid generally is a dead giveaway to all the creatures in the tank that it's feeding time. So you start to see everything like put out their feeder tentacles. You see down here the egg cans are starting to open up. You see the little spiky bits. Those are their feeder tentacles. You can actually feed those mysis as well. And of course the cleaner shrimp, he likes shrimp too. And he will steal shrimp from the other shrimp if I don't feed him first. So, or from the corals. So we're gonna give some to the hammer coral. We're gonna give some to the frog spawn. We're gonna give some to the anemone back there. The anemone has the most dramatic response. You'll see him just kind of close up. Yeah, there he goes. Joomp. Okay. The xenia don't really need it, these guys, the pulsing guys in the corner, because they pull small particles out all the time. Let's see if we can get some mysis to stick here before these guys close up. Oh, and shrimp's got him. It's not a crisis if they don't get fed, but I haven't fed these guys in a while. So anything that falls on the bottom of the tank right now will get picked up by my nacerius snails. That is exactly their function. They're like tiny little vacuum cleaners. And those are my vacuum cleaners. So they literally smell the food with those big long noses, and then they come and they sniff it out. So they're cruising around in the corner there. They're onto something. But they'll make sure the bottom of the tank stays real nice and clean. So already the fish are up to the top. They know it's feeding time. And this is special for them. This is a big treat. So there we go. It'll take them a second to realize what's happening, but they'll actually take turns. So I like to just drop little bits. Try not to feed them too much all at the same time because we don't want a bunch to end up at the bottom. Clownfish, pretty much from my experience, only eat from the top 2 or 3 inches of the tank. Once it falls down a little lower, they'll just ignore it. So I gotta give them a little time to munch up whatever's there. And we'll kind of spread it out so they're not competing for the same pieces. Because Dante will always let Petra win, so we've got to make sure that Dante gets them too. Cool, and that's it. We'll come back over here. And the anemone is nowhere to be seen. It's shrunk up so far with the food that it's got in its mouth that it is all the way down there in the corner. Just like the ones at the aquarium. All folded up, doubled over and back, that like lumpy thumb looking thing. And then you can see the frog spawn here are starting to kind of, they're closed up as well. They're getting smaller and smaller. That's what they do, is they catch the food in their tentacles and then they pull it into the center of the coral and they digest it. So yeah, there's that. Oh, and these guys are even closed up too, so they did get some particles. Super cool. All right, well, everybody's happy, and that is what that's what feeding looks like. I normally do it once a day, but you can do every other day, skip every other day. I have a really robust filtration system, biological filtration, so I can feed a little extra and it doesn't crash my tank. But Normally we just do some marine land pellets. Just do some of these guys, a little pinch. Okay, so that's what these little pellets look like. And really, I just take a little tiny bit in my fingers. And that's all the rest that they get, particularly for one day. And this would be considered a lot of food for most hobbyists, but like I said, my biological filtration can handle it and keeps everybody happy and getting along very well in a very small space, so I like to feed them a little extra. I'm not going to add any of these pellets to the main display today because they've got their mysis, but occasionally if I've got the fish in a separate tank and I'm not really feeding my main display, I will drop a few pellets in there just to get some nutrients in the water. So yeah, it's a delicate ballet. All right, thanks so much, guys.